Check the spawning conditions on each unspawned encounter card's back. Spawn the terror vessel Muse and a random terror from the terror deck on different world shards. Muse will spawn. Muse is at the town square. She starts with, and Forsaken will spawn. The Forsaken lands in the orphanage classroom and starts with. Now, Lobotomy did end its turn in the same space as a plant token, so they will lose 1 health. Catherine has the most eye domains, so Devour token will be placed there. On the first activation every round, transport Freedom to a random world shard. She will land next door in the old townhouse and plant 3 Freedom babies. Red, purple, green. She is going to buy an existence card. She is going to buy Butchering the Meat. She will confront the Abomination. We got blue brain, yellow eye, a green sphere for the green eye. Claude is going to spend his red skull domain to roll another red. So she will gain 1 shard, and Freedom will take 3 damage. Catherine was able to ignore the Devour token in her space because she has the Twisted Candle. Normally, that will affect any test. Then she will spend 1 capacity to perform a domain action, blue, green, purple. Catherine will use another support card to attack Muse. As long as support cards are not played back to back, it's going to be hard. Yellow sphere. Nice! With Butchering the Meat, the sphere results deal 2 damage instead of 1. So that's 4 damage coming through. Catherine's still her turn. She's going to attack the Muse 1 more time. She's targeting the yellow skull. A wild will do. She will gain 1 shard. That attack costs 2 plus however many spaces away, in this case 2, so 4. She's down to 3 capacity. Claude will take his turn. He's going to use a support card to move to Ceremonial Hall. And then he's going to use an encounter action to enter Enveloped in Warmth. As you finally reach the orphanage's grounds, you realize you're sweating and out of breath. You huff to yourself, wiping your forehead. What are you, some felon running from the cops? Why are you pushing yourself so hard? Straightening, you turn and appraise the orphanage. The spacious multi-level house rises to dominate your sight from behind its wrought iron gates. The road ends here, at this place. Hopefully, your search will too. Shoving down the mixture of feelings swelling inside, you push open one of the gates. You notice there seems to be a light on in the chapel or ceremonial hall lying off to the left of the main building. So you swerve and head toward its front doors. Strangely, each step you take seems to add another year to the structures and grounds. They seem to become more decadent. The brick red color drains from the cracking paint as dust cakes thicker on the windows, the grass withering, the trees shriveling as their drying leaves twirl away in an errant gale. You shake your head violently, forcing yourself to get a grip. At least the fog hasn't arrived here yet. At last, you reach the front door and ring the bell. Nothing happens. You knock at the door. Birds chirp as the breeze returns, whistling through the dead, rattling trees. You knock again. "Come in," a woman's voice says softly, drifting through the wood. You oblige. Inside, you find a tall, domed room. Its interior surprisingly clean and well preserved. You step lightly across the hardwood floor, glancing briefly at the cream-colored walls as paintings and the meticulously arranged furniture. The atmosphere elicits an otherworldly feeling in you that swings between cozy warmth and icy emptiness. 2 richly engraved structures, either curio cabinets or altars, stand sentry against the far walls, facing a large shrine bookended by an elaborate copper bathtub and a pulpit in the room's center. Lit candles flicker atop nearly every flat surface, lending the room a soft yellow glow, and revealing the white dress and gray scarf of a woman kneeling before the right-hand altar. You can't see the woman's face from this angle, only her long, white hair that she has meticulously woven through an ornamental pearl-studded silver barrette. You almost feel like you shouldn't disturb her meditations. There's something austere about her, a commanding presence you don't want to cross. Somehow, you know, deep inside, that this is Lady Mary. "You're back, Claude," the woman says, her voice echoing through the hall. You jolt, frowning. How did she know it was you? But then again, how did you know that she was Lady Mary? Try to deduce what's happening. Test blue for eyes. He rolls 4. If you succeed, gain 1 blue brain. Warmth is spreading through your body. It's not unpleasant at first, until it brings back the same dizziness you felt upon entering this town. Clutching your head and squeezing your eyes shut, you stumble backward. As you do, a soft melody worms into your ears. It sounds vaguely familiar, like a children's lullaby you forgot long ago. Then you hear something else, a sound like flowing, pulsing liquids. Opening your eyes again, you see fissures ripping the paint on the walls, a reddish liquid seeping out of them. The effluence oozes onto the floor, pooling and spreading across the hardwood. It pulses as it spreads like a living thing. This can't be happening. It's not possible. The walls, the floor, and the ceiling swell as the quivering jelly completely engulfs them. They don't look much like wood or plaster anymore. It's more like they're living tissue. You stagger backward, fumbling for the doorknob with desperate fingers. However, all you feel is wet, spongy flesh, your fingers slipping and sliding uselessly over the moist, warm surface. No. No, no, no! Sweat soaks your shirt collar as a twisting, slithering organ presses out of the tissue, snaking through the air towards you. It moves closer, closer. It's right in front of you now, searching for your navel, pressing wetly against your shirt as it writhes in the air. You begin to hyperventilate as you realize what it is: an umbilical cord. Finally, the cord works under your shirt and adheres to your skin, the ethereal children's melody growing louder as it does. You want to scream, but the placenta is pressing in around you, constricting. As the wet walls press tighter, you feel the amniotic fluid rising, pulsing with your heartbeat, covering your mouth and nose before completely immersing you. You can't breathe. Try to break free from this waking nightmare. Test blue for eyes and green for eyes. He automatically fails without an opportunity to roll green. Gain 1 disoriented card and ending A+1. Your attack action's mental capacity cost is increased by 1. At the end of the action phase, you may spend 2 hand domains of any sentience to discard this card. Spawn the encounter Visions and Half-Truths on the Ceremonial Hall. You are now trapped in the Ceremonial Hall and can't perform any actions apart from entering Visions and Half-Truths. Claude passed through the storage room, so he actually would take green, yellow, blue damage from the Freedom Babies. 1 yellow, 4 blues. He blocks 2, and since he doesn't have a green, he'll take 1 damage. The Abomination will go, and the action it will take is the Confrontation card. Roll the other world die. Then place 3 sentience markers as Freedom Babies. 3 blue babies. Forsaken is next. On the first activation this round, it rolls the other world die. 7. It will actually stay in place. That didn't cost any mental capacity, so it activates again, and now it will gain sentience markers, red, red, blue. Then it takes a damage. Because he has a sphere domain, resolve this action again for free, which means he'll get another red, red, blue and lose another health. So that's 2 damage. Forsaken's left with 2 capacity. Next is Lobotomy. No Wanderer is in its space, so it will move X spaces towards the Wanderer with the most brains, which is Catherine. That costs 2 mental capacity, and they will perform the second action since they landed together and deal 2 blue damage. Only has the 1. And blocks, but takes the other damage. And Lobotomy is done for the round. Claude is going to perform a domain, giving him 3 yellow. Then Claude will use the support card to encounter Visions and Half-Truths. At last, you squeeze your eyes tightly shut again. Strangely, you find that you're finally able to scream. You shrink down, folding into a fetal position. Your eyes snap open. The placental sac is gone, as is the umbilical cord. All that remains is the ceremonial hall. Wild-eyed and sweating, you breathe deeply as you slowly regain your feet. Someone's standing behind you. Whirling around, you prepare to strike. Lady Mary stands there, staring at you with her soul-piercing gaze. Her dignified sense of presence takes you aback. She must be in her 60s at least. So how does she seem so capable and energetic? A soft smile touches her lips, her eyes glinting. For just a moment, you glimpse the woman as someone much younger. You think she may be in her 30s, old enough to have seen some of life, but not too much for the scars to show yet. She wears something on her head too. Is it a bonnet? She looks so vibrant. Why do you feel like you recognize her? You're worried about Rose, aren't you? The woman says, aging again. She's been here for a while. Yes, you say, trying to compose yourself. I'm looking for her, but you are going to find her. You find yourself trembling at her words. Sweat collects like dew on your upper lip and the tip of your nose. Am I? You finally manage, your voice cracking. The woman doesn't answer immediately. Instead, turning to the side as she returns to her altar, "You've been away for far too long, my dear," she says. "You will find her, but first, it may behoove you to familiarize yourself with the town again." Lady Mary kneels, closes her eyes, and resumes her murmured prayers. You turn back, thankful to find the door and not some unholy living tissue in its place. You leave the hall, mulling over the old lady's words. You think her few sentences are already beginning to haunt you, and you're not sure why. Find her. Familiarize. Again. Ending A+1, ending C+1. You are no longer trapped. Gain the coda card Lady Mary and 2 shards. Green is now -1 and yellow is 0, but we got 1 in purple finally. And red is 4 and blue is 5. Spawn the encounters Past Reflections, The Crying Boy, Woman in the Bathtub. Claude will spend 2 shards to get hot on the trail. He will move 2 spaces to the cesspool, leaving him with 1 capacity remaining. Catherine's turn. She is going to buy World at her fingertips for 3 shards. And right now she's going to gain a yellow sphere. She will use her green thumb ability to place a plant token in her space. She is going to attack Forsaken below her, which will cost her 3 capacity. She's got 3 reds and gets 2 spheres. That's 4 damage due to her Butchering the Meat ability. Act as 2 damage instead of 1. Forsaken is dead. Forsaken had 4 red and 2 blue sentience and must be divided evenly between the Wanderers to take damage. So, 3 red to Catherine, 2 blues and a red to Claude. She's looking for eyes, 2 blocks, and she will spend 1 of her eye domains. No damage. Claude rolls 4 red and 5 blues. That's good enough. Catherine gains 1 existence shard. The abomination goes. Roll the other world die. Then place 3 freedom babies. 4. Right where it already was. That's a nasty place. Catherine blocked the attack from the Forsaken damage. She spent a red eye, and he's going to use his treasured teeth to take that red eye for himself. Now he will do a confrontation action against the abomination. He's rolling 4 reds. That's what he needed. 2 more damage, and with 1 capacity, he's going to search and finds an unknown injection. It's the end of the second round. Ending A has 2 points, ending B has 3, and ending C has 1. That's 6 points of the 40 needed, as well as the defeat of the abomination. So we are not quite there yet. Mental capacity is restored. Refresh support cards. Resolve devour cards. Catherine picks up the World Spins. Gain a light-headed card. -1 to green. At the end of the action phase, you may spend 2 green domains to discard this card. Spawn additional Devour tokens, so 2 of them. The Clue Room and the Police Station. Claude is able to get rid of his disoriented condition. He will spend a blue and a red hand domain. Round 3. Check the spawning conditions on each unspawned encounter card's back. Spawn the Terror Vessel Womb and a random terror from the terror deck on different world shards. Womb joins the abomination and the babies there. She will start with Contagion will end up in Rainy Night in the Wild. Starts with As Lobotomy ended its turn in a world shard with a planted token, it loses 1 more health. At the start of the new round, a Devour token will be placed in the Wanderer space with the most eyes, which is Catherine. Abomination will go first, and they will teleport to a random world shard. Joins Catherine in the bedroom. Catherine will use Move to Old Town House. And on the way, she's going to take lots of baby damage. With the bedroom, purple, green, blue. Blocks all the damage there, that's good. Next is blue, red, red babies. And lastly, 2 purples, 2 greens, and 2 reds. 1 red blocked, 1 purple blocked, 1 green blocked. Then she will spend purple, green, red eye domain to block the other 3. Unscathed. Now she will attack the womb, targeting the purple sphere. 2, 4, and she will spend 1 purple sphere from her domain to do 6 damage. That's enough to kill Womb, gaining her 1 shard, and she will use her world at her fingertips to gain a blue sphere domain. Catherine is going to use a support card to confront the abomination. I got everything except for the blue skull, which I spent 1 of her wild spheres. 4 damage comes through, and she gains 2 more shards. She will spend 1 capacity to move to the vessel. Claude is next. He will use the support card and counter the woman in the bathtub. Something approaches you through the mist. Light cuts through the fog up ahead, moving implacably towards you. Of course, it's likely just a harmless townsperson carrying a lantern. So why do you feel such dread seize your heart? You pause, considering what to do. Then fear overtakes you, and you run. You race through the oppressive mist, the clinging haze smothering your senses. You flounder away from the approaching entity as it somehow moves closer every moment. Your foot slips. Rushing air buffets you momentarily. Then you find yourself tumbling down slick steps. How did you not know there was a stairwell here? You hit your back, then your head. White light flashes before your eyes, and still you fall. Try to protect yourself as you fall. Test red for 3 hands. Nice. Finally, you roll to a stop on a hard, wet floor. You force yourself back onto your shaky feet without even bothering to evaluate the damage inflicted by your accident. Shaking your head to clear it, you grimace as you feel your whole body protest. You inhale deeply to collect yourself and are instantly sorry you did. An awful stench invades your nostrils. Your eyes bulge as you clamp a hand over your mouth to keep yourself from gagging. You find that you're standing in an underground passageway made of ancient stone blocks that opens into a wider chamber. To your right is a ditch filled with murky water. It must be sewage. Some light filters down from what may be manhole covers in the roof above you. You look around tentatively while your eyes grow accustomed to the faint light. A sudden guttural sound echoes from the room ahead of you. The sound comes again, interspersed with coughs, gasps, and splattering liquid. You grit your teeth as you realize what's happening. Someone is throwing up. You hear feminine moans accompanying the other noises now. Slowly, you advance into the expansive chamber. In a poorly lit corner sits an old, enamel bathtub. Inside, slumped against the bathtub's edge, you see a woman wearing a long coat. Her body violently jerks as she vomits again onto the ground beside the tub. Her back's to you, concealing her face. The whole situation turns your stomach, and not just because of the smell or what the woman's doing. Slowly, you step toward her. Maybe you can help her. Maybe. As you approach the bathtub, the chamber's corners grow darker. You halt briefly. Tentatively, you take another step, and the room grows even dimmer. It doesn't matter. You need to reach the woman. You owe her that much. Slowly, you continue your advance, the space getting darker and darker around you. Finally, you reach the tub's lip. The room is almost pitch black now. You stretch your hand out toward the woman. The last of the light winks out. Try to find the woman in the darkness. Test blue for 2 eyes. He does get to roll 5 dice. Got it. Spawn the vomiting dark on the cesspool. You blink your eyes rapidly, flailing around as you search for the lady. You can't find her. Where did she go? Suddenly, the manhole's dim light returns. You can see the chamber's walls again and realize you are utterly alone. Even the bathtub has vanished. However, you do notice something else. The sewage stench is gone. In its place are the aromas of blood and rust. It's as if traces of the woman still hang in the air. Turning, you stagger back toward the stairway, feeling disoriented and sick. Ending A+1, C+1. Gain a shard. For 1 capacity, he will perform a domain action, purple, red, yellow. Contagion will activate, moving 2 spaces. Claude will attack Contagion. He's going to target the blue sphere. He gets to roll 5 dice. There's 2 successes. 2 because he's going to use the 44 Magnum. 3 success. Claude is going to spend 1 use of Unknown Injection to restore 2 capacity. He's up to 7. He's going to spend 3 capacity to attack Contagion again. He only rolls 1, and he gets it. He gains 1 shard. He has 3 now. He will spend 2 shards to gain Working the Case, and he will use it immediately to gain a red brain. Catherine will use the support card to confront the abomination. Everything but the yellow skull. She will spend a yellow sphere and deal 3 damage. She gains a shard. She now has 5. She is going to use her green thumb to place a plant token in her space. She will spend 3 shards to gain Growing Like Weeds and use it immediately to gain 1 shard back. Then she spends 2 capacity to encounter Woman in the Coat. Darkness. The radio blares with static discord. A station comes into tune, a distorted male voice crooning through the speakers. Well, I'm sometimes up and I'm sometimes down, coming for to carry me home. But I know my soul is heavenly bound. An old wall clock strikes. 1, 2, 3. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. The music continues as the clock completes 12 strikes. Ending B+1. Gained 1 shard. Claude receives 1 red damage. Blocked. A new world shard. Woman in the Coat now in town square. Freedom will activate. Freedom moves up to 2 spaces toward the Wanderer with the lowest health. If it ends in a Wanderer space, it immediately activates again. He'll move closer to Catherine at the old townhouse. Next up is Lobotomy. No Wanderer in its space, so it will move up to X spaces to Claude for the amount of brains he has, which is 5. So 5 spaces. He ends up in the cesspool with him, then activates again, dealing 2 blue damage. Gets the eye to block it. Claude will go, and he's going to attack Lobotomy. He has the bullet token on him for the blue brain, so he will roll 5 dice. Gets enough. He gains 1 shard. Catherine's turn. She will spend 3 movements to enter town square. Abomination will activate. Freedom moves up to 2 spaces towards the Wanderer with the lowest health. That's Catherine. He spawns a purple, yellow baby and teleports to 12. Claude is left. He will move 2 spaces to get to Old Townhouse. That's the end of the round. Abomination is still alive, and total end game points A3, B4, C2, D0. That adds up to 9 points out of the 40 we need. Mental capacity is restored. Refresh support cards. No Wanderer is in a space with Devour tokens, so no Devour cards are drawn. 2 Devour tokens are spawned on Old Town and Ceremonial Hall. Catherine will spend 2 green domains to get rid of Lightheaded. So she will get a green sentience back, up to 2. And I think that's where we're going to stop for this episode of Donna Madness. Join me next time as we dive into Claude's spiraling madness and see who that woman is, will he find Rose, and how will we come out on the other side. This is Gambit, and I'll see you next time when I play Quick.